Good morning. It's Thursday, February 11th. And today I want to talk a little bit of sports, but not directly sports, sort of indirectly sports. I discovered this morning while checking the news that the Dallas Mavericks have not played the national anthem in this entire basketball preseason. Now, the pregame ceremonies in the league are up to the teams. But one of the rules in the league is that if you play the national anthem, the players are supposed to stand. They're not supposed to take a knee. However, the league has been very lenient with players who want to take a knee, and they haven't enforced any discipline upon those that take the knee. I didn't realize that this was happening in the preseason, but I'm not much of a basketball fan right now because the Knicks have sucked for so many years. And I don't think most people noticed that the national anthem wasn't being played at Maverick games. And I think that's the right course of action. I think the national anthem should be played, and if people want to protest during the national anthem, as long as they do it peacefully, I'm okay with that. And it seems like Mark Cuban, the owner of the Mavericks, was okay with that also. But rather than set some bad example for the rest of the league, he has decided that he's not going to play the national anthem for the rest of this season, and he's going to stop doing it entirely. He's going to stop playing the national anthem before the games. Last season, when the coronavirus was roaring through the country, the players knelt and peacefully protested during the anthem. When the NBA returned after a pause in the season that was due to the pandemic, of course. And the protests were following last summer's Black Lives Matter demonstrations and over the racial injustice following the police killings of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. And Mark Cuban, the owner of the Mavericks, has expressed support for the players. Now I find out that Cuban's position was attacked on Twitter by the world's worst patriot, Ted Cruz, who was one of the House leaders, along with Josh Hawley of Missouri. These two senators, along with several Republican congressmen, tried to stop the confirmation of Joe Biden as president. They were in the Capitol ranting, trying to overturn the votes and trying to halt Joe Biden being confirmed. And he's the one who has stepped up now to attack Mark Cuban because he's not playing the national anthem. Ted Cruz has no respect for this country. Who is he to step up and tell Mark Cuban that he must play the national anthem? This is coming from a man who has disgraced himself several times in the performance of his duties as a senator from Texas. In addition to his tweet battle with Ted Cruz, Cuban also called out many who consider themselves the national anthem police. He called them out, and he said if they are upset by nonviolent protest of the systematic racism that takes place in the United States, then they could go complain to their boss and ask why they don't play the national anthem every day before you start work. That's what he said. Play the national anthem every day before you start work if you're so patriotic. As I mentioned before, even though the rules in the NBA require that players stand during the national anthem, Adam Silver, the NBA commissioner, has chosen to overlook the rule. He, in effect, is supporting his players' decisions to express themselves. He feels there's no reason to punish these people for expressing themselves as long as their demonstrations are peaceful. And I agree with that. Yes, many people get upset. by things that other people do. But as long as there's no physical damage, then they have a perfect right to express themselves. They're not rioting. They're not breaking windows. They're not trashing any place. They're just taking a peaceful knee. And if we can't accept that, then we have a problem in this country. And while I don't agree necessarily with a lot of what the Black Lives Matter stand for, because I think they should be fighting for education and opportunity and not fighting against police brutality constantly. But I guess education and opportunity are not high on the scale for getting people's attention. But in any event, Silva also went on to say that rule enforcement is not the way to solve this problem. The way to solve this problem is to have real engagement, to be able to talk to people, to sit down with the leadership of both sides and establish what has to be done. And I think one of the major problems with the Black Lives Matter movement is that there is no one leader that you can deal with. It's run by community organizers who don't necessarily do a very good job. And there needs to be a head, because it's very difficult to deal with hundreds of community organizers. There needs to be some leadership in that movement. And so I think Cuban is right. I think the players are right. I think the fans are right for being upset. But I think the fans who are being upset should understand that there is racism in the United States. It's systemic. It's a large part of what the impeachment of President Trump was all about. Even though it's under the covers, it's not being talked about openly. So in any event, this incident about the national anthem has brought a lot of different things into my head. So I have to get them well organized, and that may take some time. So I'm done for now, and I'll see you in the morning. Bye.